Hi, and welcome to our podcast. We're here today to talk kind of around 50 things to do before you're 5, but more importantly, around what underpins the development of 50 things to do before you're 5. And one of the key elements that underpinned the development of our initiative was the importance of being outdoors. And I'm really excited today to welcome Jan White to come and have a chat around why it is important to be outdoors, how it puts the foundations in place for children to have the right capabilities and attitudes to be competent learners. So first of all, I'll hand you over to Jan White, who can tell us a little bit about her background and interests.
Well, just briefly, because it's a bit of a long story. I think of myself as an outdoor play enthusiast and a champion for every child's right to be and play outdoors.
Yeah.
And the best learning happens when it's directed by the child.
Yeah.
That's play.
Yeah.
In the outdoor environment, because it's such a strong environment for everything that the child needs through their early years and beyond.
Yeah.
But the focus on movement that we're going to take within this look at the outdoors. The outdoors is spectacular at enabling and stimulating children to move and be the active people they need to be.
Yeah.
But a little bit on the front, the reason I got interested in that is I suppose I was drawn from a very active childhood myself.
Yeah.
Running. Yeah. Endlessly running.
Yeah.
And then watching children through my career, and especially my own children. And my big question was, why do children need to move so much? Why is it so apparent that children need to move?
Yeah.
And you might think in there about what are we doing in our society that's actually constraining and restraining children from all that movement. So what's the drive behind children being such wriggly, fidgety, active people? What drives all this activity and motion, and why is it a must?
Yeah, no, that's great, and I can't wait to sort of deep dive into that conversation. But just overall commentary on the importance of outdoors, and I think what we're not going to explore today is really the importance of being outdoors for well-being. But that doesn't mean to say that Jen and I don't think that is really important. It really is. And just sort of getting out in the fresh air, not just for children, for all of us, is so important for our well-being to be outside. And also kind of when we think of movement and being outdoors, we often think of those benefits from related to gross motor movement, and that it's sort of building our body's strength and it will make us healthier. But again, that's not going to be the focus really today about this.
It's incredibly important. But
it is incredibly important. Yeah. So what triggered me wanting to have this conversation with you really was a conversation that we had very briefly at the end of a session at a conference about play, the International Play Association conference. And you really briefly mentioned to me around the link between children's movement and their eyesight.
Oh, yeah.
And so that was one element that, I had never considered before and was fascinated. And do you want to tell us a bit more about that?
Well, launching straight into the eyesight issue.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what we could say is that the link, as you've in the introduction, you've said that we're looking at how movement, being outdoors and moving, underpins the capabilities and attitudes for learning.
Yeah.
Eyesight is clearly foundational to being able to read, to doing all the symbol use that we use in maths.
Yeah.
So it's foundational for language, but it's foundational for communicating, for being with other people. It's foundational for humans, isn't it? We're very visual, we're very vision oriented. And one of the things that I learned a few years ago was how much it mattered that children were moving in the outdoor environment. in order for vision to develop well.
Yeah.
And I said for years, I must find out more about that, because I knew some of it, but I needed to know a lot more. So I started to look around to find out what was being said about why children's vision was reliant on being outdoors and moving in the outdoors. And there's actually two. I'll try and remember the two threads of this. So the biology of it is that when the child's very small, obviously babies' heads are much bigger than their bodies, but they're still much smaller than they are later on. So the head is growing and the eyeballs are growing.
Yeah.
And if the eyeball grows too long, then the lens can't focus on the back of the eyeball.
Uh-huh.
And it focuses before it gets to the back of the eyeball.
Okay.
And that's what short-sightedness is.
Right, okay.
And in fact, I'm long-sighted, so in my case, the focus goes too far behind.
Right, okay.
So I need corrective glasses in order to be able to bring it forward. But when you're short-sighted, you need corrective glasses to bring the focus to the back of the eyeball. So if the eyeball's got too long, then that causes that short-sightedness. It's known as myopia.
Yeah.
We don't need the big word. It's short-sightedness. And lots of us wear glasses, and a lot of it is genetic.
Yeah.
But what has been noticed is that short-sightedness has been growing in certain parts of the world, not all over the world, but in certain areas, short-sightedness has become a huge issue.
Yeah.
And in much of the Western world, short-sightedness has been growing far quicker than any kind of evolutionary explanation could explain. And so it's very clearly to do with the environment that the children are growing up in.
Yeah.
And there's lots of argument that maybe it's screen work, and that it always was with books.
Yeah.
And before that, the Victorians sewing in the dark, and getting severe short-sightedness does have the risk of blindness, and that happened a long 100 years ago. But so in the last few decades, short-sightedness in young children has been growing fast.
Right, okay.
And I've been asking reception teachers, and they're saying, yes, far more of my children are wearing glasses now than I was used to 10 years or so ago. So the argument that I thought, okay, we know this is happening. What's the theory about why it's happening? And you could say it's because of all that close-up work.
Yeah, yeah.
And you could argue that's why we shouldn't have screen work. I'll have other reasons why I think screen work can be problematic, too much of it. But it turns out, and I think it's now established in the world of optometry and ophthalmology, that the issue is that we're indoors too much.
Right, okay.
And that we're not moving enough in either environment, but obviously the indoors constrains movement even more. So indoors, the world is relatively close to you. There's very little difference in close looking and far looking.
Yeah.
And the eye needs to learn, the front of the eye needs to learn how to squeeze the lens to look closer and relax to look further away. So it's got to do a lot of work to become able to focus. Yeah,
and that'll link with a bit of research that I read around this after you'd sort of put the idea in my head, that showed that there are higher rates of short-sightedness in spaces, in communities where there is less green space.
Yeah.
So again, the built environment is not allowing the eye to see far enough. So
so you've got a spectrum really, haven't you? But the indoors is even more constrained. Yeah. So just being outdoors does allow the eye to look further and closer. There's very close, there's tiny.
Yeah.
And then there's a way off, and then there's all the way to the horizon and beyond.
Yeah.
So the eye can do lots of practice of focusing at different distances, and it can't learn to do that in the indoor environment because there's just too short a spectrum of change. Something that's very, very important to know about physical development is, although maturation is this kind of biological process, it's sort of set up to happen. It doesn't happen unless the experiences are there.
Uh-huh.
It's what's called experience dependent.
Yeah.
So physical development, all the sensory development that's evolved in physical development is experience dependent.
Yeah.
And childhood is designed through biology, through evolution, to give children the experiences that develop this maturation process.
Yeah.
And the maturation process can't happen fully without those experiences. And when you start to look at vision, there are so many components to vision. I made myself a bit of a list. Let me just refer to just some of them.
Yeah.
If you think about reading,
and
obviously this is one aspect of thinking about vision, comfortable reading the words on the page, you've got to be able to focus and hold your gaze on one word.
Yeah.
And then you've got to track across to find the next word.
Yeah.
And then hold your gaze.
Yeah.
And track and hold and track and hold.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that, the words go all jiggly.
Yeah.
They come off the page, they slide around, and reading is incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
So the experiences that children have by moving around in an outdoor environment where all this experience is available.
Yeah.
As long as it's available and they're permitted to do all the movement that children are driven to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking about children spending time in car seats and pushchairs. They don't really get that kind of experience that they need to.
So you
need to move your own body.
Yeah, yeah.
You need to move your own body in this rich, complex world. But so just smooth tracking across something, being able to follow the trajectory of a ball is tracking.
Yeah.
Being able to hold the gaze on somebody's face is holding the gaze, but reading needs both.
Yeah.
Alternately. So it's quite a complex visual process, let alone all the rest. Foregrounding stuff, being able to pick stuff out against the background. At birth, the way I understand it is baby's vision is pretty much just one jumble of information.
Yeah.
And the brain's got to work hard to get the ability to separate things out and see them as objects and see them as separate. Yeah. And again, in reading, you need to be able to foreground words, just as you do when you're listening.
Yeah.
You need to be able to foreground sounds.
Yeah.
This is a very important one. Understanding motion, other things moving, understanding yourself moving, but understanding other things moving and the direction and speed that they're going is critical for crossing the road.
Yeah.
So that takes a long time. As we know, it takes children a long time to be safe to cross the road, and we give them lots of support to do it. But one of the components of being able to do that is that being able to judge that this object is actually coming towards me, or it's not, it's going somewhere else, and how quickly is it coming towards me? And all of that kind of judgment is all part of vision.
Uh-huh.
Another aspect is peripheral vision, being able to see the stuff at the side. See the stuff at the side of my gaze. If I'm looking forward, what do I notice here?
Yeah.
Good footballers.
Uh-huh.
Wayne Rooney is apparently spectacular at peripheral vision.
Uh-huh.
So being able to see things that are happening here whilst I'm paying attention to what's in front of me. Uh-huh. It's not just for playing football, it's for being able to cope with navigating the world altogether.
Yeah.
And it just keeps going on, left and right, size and scale.
Yeah.
These are all visual capacities.
Yeah.
And they all require the child to experience movement in a context that allows all of that information to be thrown at them and the brain learn to understand it all. Uh-huh. It's really an enormous task, isn't it?
It is.
And that's why I think we need to know what does matter in the early years.
Uh-huh. Yep.
So that we don't take time away from those important experiences. It's not that the children need to be doing it all the time, but they do need a daily diet of this stuff, moving in a rich world, which is what the outdoors is able to offer.
Yeah. And the other thing that I kind of read a bit around was the impact of light of outdoors. Yeah. Now, we are in quite a bright room here today with no natural light whatsoever, but it feels bright and why is that not as good as being outdoors, even if it's cloudy? Okay,
that brings us back to the reason why this understanding of the development of short-sightedness, because I explained what short-sightedness is. Short-sightedness is when we're focusing in front of the retina.
Yeah.
So it's a blurred image that we're seeing. The argument is that as the head grows and the eyeball grows, it needs to stop growing
Yeah.
at a certain point, or it needs to slow down and gradually stop. And if it carries on growing, then that short-sightedness is likely to happen.
Yeah.
And the more that happens, the more short-sighted you'll be,
Yeah.
to the extent you need incredibly thick glasses,
Yeah.
which has the risk of blindness
Yeah.
in the long run. So the understanding about this now, what's going on, this enormous increase, is that it's bright, natural light that tells the eye to slow down. There's a dopamine in the eye, in the retinal dopamine, which is a neurotransmitter. It's a signaler, and it gives the information to the other tissues to stop growing. And without that stimulus, then it will keep growing. So that seems to be the leading argument. Screen work and all that close work does seem to be a bit of a problem, but most eye people seem to accept now that it's that natural light issue. There's lots and lots of research done on this and lots of evidence.
Yeah, and I can confirm, because my son is an optical assistant, and when I was chatting about this, he said, oh yeah, that was part of the training that he's had, talks about the fact that children need to be outside for, they say, at least 2 hours a day to kind of get that light. And what I found really fascinating, because, you know, the north of England can be a bit dull and dreary a lot of the time, especially today. But I also read that the short-sightedness is not as big an issue in Norway, where they are much darker than us a lot of the time, but they are spending so much more time outside. So an average, I think, of 4 hours a day in the summer and 2 hours a day in the winter. So even that dark light is better than this bright, unnatural light.
Yeah. What I've read is that even on a cloudy day in the north of Britain, the light outdoors is 200 times, I think, I remember, 200 times stronger than this artificial light.
Wow.
So it might feel bright, but actually, if you go outside, you immediately have to protect your eyes, because you can feel the brightness as you walk outside from an indoor environment, and it's as much as 200 times, even on a cloudy day. Yeah.
And I think you've just mentioned there about shading your eyes. I think that's another point worth mentioning, that if it is really bright and sunny, wearing a sun hat, wearing sunglasses will protect the eyes, but it will still give that benefit of being outside. So
yes, there's so many.
To take my sunglasses off.
Well, it's true that you do need to protect your eyes in particularly bright light. And children need the same.
I'm tempted to go off at a tangent around sort of the screen use and that lack of movement there. And just, you know, obviously when children are in front of screens and, you know, possibly historically books, but it felt like it wasn't quite the same pull as a screen.
Was for me.
There is that sort of element of children, I don't know, coping differently in situations, needing to wriggle and move around. And, you know, I'm sure we've all heard teachers in our time telling pupils to sit still. But do they need to sit still? And is that exasperated by a lack of being outdoors and having that opportunity to build those foundations outside? Is it just the screen? Is the screen and the computer game such a terrible thing?
Right. Well, there's a lot in what you've said there. I had 3 things I was going to say, and they've all disappeared out of my head. I think the first thing to say there is that, so one thing I thought was, as you were talking, was I've heard a lot of teachers saying that their children are just falling out of their chairs. Just suddenly. They fall out of their chairs.
Yeah.
And it never used to be like this.
Yeah.
And it's happening a lot.
Yeah.
And there are also lots of children who need to wriggle a lot. I still need to wriggle a lot.
Yeah.
And actually wriggling is good. Although I hate chewing gum. Chewing keeps you awake. We know this. People who work in airport control.
Right, okay.
Or nuclear power plants. Or lorry drivers all chew to keep themselves alert.
Right.
Because the act of chewing wakes the brain up because of all the nerves that go across the jaw. But wriggling wakes the body up. Wriggling helps you feel your body. And if you can't feel your body, you can't control it. So we have to think about if children are falling out of the chairs, are chairs the right thing? The chances are they're not ready to sit in chairs. And I've just read a very interesting blog from Community Playthings. They've introduced stools for toddlers.
Right. Okay.
And Millie Colway has written a lovely little article about how her children are finding these stools so much better than chairs.
Right.
So it's something worth following.
Yeah.
But there's also what came into my mind. There was a piece of research done many years ago. Mary Jane Drummond was involved in it. And there was a 4-year-old who said, sitting on the carpet wastes your life.
Okay.
Just pause with that. Sitting on the carpet wastes your life. He is completely right. Apart from his own emotion of why am I doing this? Why am I being that? I can't do it. I'm not ready. I'm only 4. I'm not ready to do this. My body won't let me do this. And it's a good thing that his body won't let him do it. Because his body's got to do an awful lot of work yet to gain the control that he wants to develop as he grows up. But you cannot gain the control by being still. You have to move. This experience-dependent process, you have to move in order for all the neurological work that childhood needs to be about, for that to happen. So a couple of things, the ones that really grabbed my attention, and this was where I really got into studying movement. So as a child, I used to spend a lot of time spinning on the spot until I got so giddy. The world started to go, and eventually I'd fall over, and then I'd watch the world spinning.
I remember doing the same.
I used to do lots and lots of hanging upside down. And then my daughter did it too. Why? I mean, when as a child, I just did it because it was pleasurable. She did it because it was pleasurable. She used to ask me as a 1-year-old, she used to hang off my shoulder upside down, walking around the supermarket. Everybody looking at me, who is this woman? But I thought, well, if she doesn't like it, she'd tell me and I'll stop. And I admire you. Sometimes you see fathers holding their children by the ankles. What, why does the child want that to be the case? But that
thrown over the shoulder like a sack of spuds.
That's it, and thrown up in the air, and all of this tumbling, twisting, spinning, falling, tipping, tilting. There's a whole range of movement experiences that move your body in the 3 dimensions of the world, of space. And children are really driven to do this stuff. And we do stop them. And we shouldn't. Obviously, if it's dangerous, we should. But, in a playful situation with a parent who is intuitively knowing that this is what is right to do. And I'm so glad that I did it. I didn't know why. But I just went with my intuition. My child wants this. They're clearly having a pleasurable experience, and I know that they will let me know when they want to stop. Children absolutely adore having 2 adults taking hands and swinging between them, don't they? And then as I got older, I would swing on the swing seat and swing it as high as I could go, and then leap off. Or I'd hang over the swing seat on my tummy with my head upside down and just swoosh. That's all really good experience. That's the experience-dependent process that develops the ability that is housed in the inner ear, in between the ear and the brain. There's a system in there that detects movement, and it's made to detect the 3 dimensions of space. And it can't develop unless you're doing all that movement.
So am I interpreting this right? That if children have, obviously, my area of expertise is children under the age of 5. If children under the age of 5 have this experience and, get lots of opportunity to move and stretch and spin and especially kind of doing that outdoors where there's great big spaces to do that, are they then going to be able to cope better when they are asked to sit on the chair and do the more formal learning? And
this is my understanding.
Whole other webinar conversation around what age that should start, and I think we do start much too early in this country. But so you're saying that by having that, they will then be able to cope better. Sitting down and listening.
The best food for the nervous, the sensory development that you need for body control is all this stuff.
Yeah.
But then there's another set. So that's all the sort of spinning stuff that helps you detect movement so that you can feel yourself. And one of the things about spinning on the spot is that your eyes are picking up the motion.
Right.
So they're learning to cope with motion, which is very important.
Yeah.
But they're also get the information coming in from that way and joining up with information that's coming in through the motion detecting system in here. And that helps you, it helps you do everything. It helps you feel safe in the world. I think that's something I did want to say is if these experiences are not given as much as a child needs, which is a great deal every day throughout childhood, but particularly in the first few years, you don't get the feeling of security in the world. And that balance system is the one that really makes you feel like you're secure, that you're grounded, that you're balanced. We use all those words.
Absolutely.
And that's this motion detecting system gives you balance.
Right, okay.
But the other system that gives you body control, so you obviously need to understand movement and know how to respond to it. But you also need to develop the feeling of your body.
Right.
And there's another system in your body that's in your joints and your muscles.
Right.
And that's, again, it's highly experience dependent. You have to move your muscles and joints all the time, every single muscle and joint, including these ones, which will help you hold a pencil. But it's through all that development that you have a sense of your body and therefore the ability to control your body. And joined up with this one, control your body in space and gravity. And that gives you a feeling of being good in your body, feeling happy about your body being in the world, and feeling safe and confident in the world. And if you haven't got those in place, you're not ready for learning. You know, the learning we call the academic, what we tend to call learning. I'd say all of this is the learning that actually needs to happen. But the stuff we call ready for school, the sort of academic stuff, cannot happen if you don't feel safe and secure in the world and comfortable in your body.
So how can we get that message out? I have, I'm not a practicing practitioner anymore, but I have, really clear recollections of parents coming into settings that are play-based, around Easter time and saying, my child's due to start school in September and they still can't write yet. Can you just stop doing all this playing and teach them how to write? And having those one-to-one conversations, with parents, I think they got it and we work closely. But how can we try and change this discourse?
I have found when talking to parents about this, and I've done it a few times by nursery schools, parents get it very quickly. And in fact, I've heard other people say the parents get it quicker than practitioners do. Because they know their own child. And as soon as you start talking about this, they go, oh, that's my child. Oh, right. Oh, that's why. It's like learning about schemas. It's the same sort of thing that you suddenly, the whole thing clicks into place and you think, that's why my child can't sit still. That's why they get car sick, because they need to be looking out the window while they're moving so that vision and balance join up. This explains so many things. And so long as it's in a language that's accessible, I mean, I could be using the science words, but I've avoided them because you don't need the science words. You need words that make sense to you. So motion detecting, giving you balance, and body awareness, giving you body control. Not just body control, but the feeling of your body. So I can now sit in this chair because I can feel my body against the chair. And the wriggling helps me feel my body against the chair. So I'm more able to sit still if I'm allowed to wriggle. So it sort of reveals all these things, but when you know it about your child and your context. So I think that's the important work is to build it into 50 things so that parents can see actually twiddling the swing up tight so that it then unravels. Something we used to do, but we might not be comfortable letting children do now because we're more risk averse. We're more present with our children. I mean, a lot of this was done without adults around, I suppose, the memories I have. But I did a lot of it at school because we had tumbling bars in the playground. And you start hanging up. You know how they swing it round?
Yep.
And if you do it yourself, you can feel it tugging on your arms. And you can think, oh, that's given me a sense of my arm.
Yep.
That shoulder, elbow, wrist and fingers are all being stimulated. That's going to help me write.
Right. Okay.
So, and much more. It's going to help me eat.
I need to remember that next time I see my children doing it, not to get frustrated.
So
allow them to do it.
That's it, isn't it? If you've got the knowledge about what's going on, and you do listen to your intuition, and try and avoid all the stuff that's telling you shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
So when I was walking around the supermarket with my child hanging off my shoulder, and had people looking at me, I was able to ignore them because I thought, but she's happy, and somehow I know she should do this. I think in my case it was because I remember doing it myself.
And that's a really interesting point, and again, maybe a conversation for another day, but it is about, there is sadly so much research out there that is showing that parents are feeling judged.
Yes.
And it's really hard. And that's, you talked about the language that we use in 50 Things to Do Before You're 5. And we really want to have that non-judgmental approach. It's a universal offer so anybody can use it. But it's also, if you just picked this up, I hope you would just see 50 really fun things to do with your child before they're 5. There isn't any sort of, you're failing in your parenthood around this, and therefore you need to be using this tool to make yourself a better parent.
Yeah.
We know that all the underpinning evidence and knowledge that we've used to build those 50 things will help build those foundations in early childhood, but it's not shouting that through it. It's just saying, go out and do some fun. However, we are constantly wanting to move and reflect, and we are reflecting at the moment whether one of our drop-down tabs needs to be a really just clear, short, simple thing. Why doing this matters.
And
the exact thing that you were talking about there, about saying why doing that swing. Just a short, simple sentence of why. It's okay to do this.
As soon as you understand why children are driven to do it, then that allows you to counter some of the sort of pressures. I'm really aware of that, how judged parents feel. And something I'd like to add in here is that being experience dependent, although it works best if it's in the early years, the wonderful thing about all of this is you can make it up later. So, if you haven't done it yet, that's not a problem, because you've got lots and lots of time to, give children all those experiences. And I'd love schools to really think about how they're running the day so that they built in those experiences as well. But even if that's not happening, children are being asked to sit nicely, arms crossed, fingers on lips, stuff, or line up nicely to queue for lunch. It's not possible to line up nicely unless you've got all this stuff in place. So we said we'd start with academia and how it's mental well-being, it's physical health, and it's the foundations for being able and willing to undertake the learning that happens in school. But I wish everybody understood just how much children have to move. It's not just a nice thing, it's a requirement.
It's
and
essential.
Any child who, this is another aspect, any child who's limited physically, you might be worrying about, well, what about them? It's about working out how you can give them what they can do, rather than worrying about what they can't do. And I think there are so many ways of finding movement experiences. It's ideal if you move yourself, but if that's not possible, you still need to be moved. You still need to move. So you do what you can. And if you give it attention over many years, then those developmental processes will happen. There is a lot of therapy for children who've got difficulties like dyspraxia. There are many, many therapies that involve movement that are very effective, but it just takes more effort later. In the early years, it's effortless because children want to do it. It's not hard work.
I think I could sit here and talk for hours, Jan, but I think we've probably come to the end of our time. Thank you so much today.